Hello and welcome back. I am the Crypto Math Whiz, and today I want to walk you through the basics of using the BSCscan.com website. This is an incredibly important tool if you are interested in investing in any BEP-20 tokens, like Safemoon is a very popular one, but there are thousands and thousands of these tokens. I want to teach you three major things today. The first is what is going on with a token in terms of its total supply. How many are there? Therefore, if I'm going to buy some tokens, what percentage of the total supply am I going to own? Then second, how many holders are there? Which is a pretty good proxy for the popularity of the project, right? If no one's invested in it and you're the first one, you're very much a guinea pig. Whereas if there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who own this particular one, that might be a more interesting thing to look at. It's certainly more established. And then finally, who are the top holders? You want to look for some key things in terms of the top holders list, and I'll walk you through that. Before we begin, remember this is not financial advice. I'm not suggesting that you do anything specific. This is merely a tutorial on how to use this research tool. You can use it for whatever kinds of research you want and then make whatever decisions you want. So let's get started. The first thing to note here is that it is not common to come to this homepage and use a lot of these tools. You have a lot of tickers and just general ecosystem information, but usually if you're going to come here, it's going to be for the sake of this search box. You're going to have a wallet in mind or a transaction in mind, some kind of research you want to do. So to simulate that, let's toggle over to just a website I have queued up for one BEP-20 token that I'm familiar with. I own a small amount of this, and it's a new token. I kind of like it, but that's not really the point here. If we go and we look on any token's website, it is incredibly common to route you to some contract information. And the contract is the code in the blockchain that governs what goes on with that token. If there's buy fees and sell fees, and you can see all their tokenomics here. So they're explaining it to you. But if you want to take a look at the contract, you hop on over to BSCscan. So by clicking this, we're actually going to get linked to BSCscan just as if we had searched for this contract address on the search box, but they've done it for us. All right, so the first thing I want to teach you, the total supply. You got to watch the decimal place here. This is these are thousands, millions, and billions. So you'd have 983 billion, almost 984 billion tokens in the total supply. So this is a token that started off almost surely with 1 trillion. I happen to know that that's the case. And then as tokens are transacted, a lot of tokens, especially more recently, are triggering a burn, meaning some tokens are just destroyed. So if you're holding some, you have a larger percentage of the supply. The important thing about this number to remember, don't get excited because you own 1 billion tokens or 1 trillion tokens, or I actually have some from my early days where I have a couple quadrillion. Ooh, isn't that exciting? For $15, I have a quadrillion tokens. But don't get excited by moving the decimal over, because just think about it. If we move this decimal over 3, okay, now we get 983 trillion. Well, is that more exciting? Well, not really. What can be exciting is what percentage of the supply do I own? So if there's 1 trillion tokens and I own 1 billion, 1 billion is 1/1000th of a trillion. So I have 1/1000th of all the tokens. 1 out of every 1,000 tokens is mine. And then as there, you're down to 983 billion, meaning 98.3% of a trillion. Your amount, if you hold that 1 billion tokens, is a higher percentage. And imagine if I have some tokens where there are only 250 in existence. So by owning 2, you have almost 1%. So it's more important to understand your market share, and you do that by looking at total supply. So when you're considering buying, I'm going to buy this many tokens for this many dollars, really think to yourself, okay, what percentage of the project am I going to own? Or am I going to be a big whale who owns 2% of all the tokens, or am I going to have 0.00001%? So this total supply number lets you figure that out. Second thing you can look at here, how many holders are there? Now, in the introduction, I talked in terms of people. You want to remember it's really addresses or wallets. So for security reasons, you can have several wallets. You can split things up. So there's no guarantee that this is the number of people. It's probably maybe a half or a third. It really depends on how many people are doing things with how many wallets, but it's incredibly easy to make a wallet. So you can't really say people, but comparing tokens to each other, 1,000 is probably less people than a token that has 10,000 holders. So that's an interesting statistic to say, where are we? If you're trying for a moonshot and you want something that's just getting started, has high risk, high reward, maybe you're looking at less than 100 people holding it. You're really early. If you want something that's more established, you might be looking for 10,000 or 50,000, right? There's different numbers for different reasons, and the holder count is how you're going to know that. The last thing I want to walk you through in this video, looking at holders, meaning what are the significant holders who have a lot of the tokens. So by default, we have this transfers tab open, meaning these are the latest transactions that have occurred with this token. Whereas if we go to holders, these are the people who have it. So you can see of our 983 billion tokens, 269 billion, a huge chunk, are held by PancakeSwap. Now that's not unexpected, that's incredibly common. What that means is those are the tokens that are held on the PancakeSwap decentralized exchange, which if you go on to PancakeSwap, you can exchange different kinds of crypto for other kinds of crypto. So those tokens are waiting. So if you want to buy some Safe Affinity, you can pull from that pile by trading something else. If you want to sell your Safe Affinity, it's going to go onto that big heap. So that's just part of the trading landscape. Another very popular thing is a burn address. So here, not only did we not have a trillion in the total supply, we also have a burn address where 106 billion have been tossed. So you want to pay attention to that because not only are there only 983 billion, but a full 106, right? That's over 10% of them are in a burn address where they can never come out again. It's like a black hole. So that's another piece of information you want to look at to say, how many of the circulating supply do I hold? Then we start to get into the whale wallets, and a lot of these will be developers, especially the round numbers, right? Because maybe you're a developer and instead of getting paid in fiat dollars, you're going to get paid in some number of tokens, which has a way, just like say a stock option, it's going to align you with the success of the company, with the token, because if it goes up in value, suddenly your tokens that you're holding, which is usually a big share, 1% is a really common thing to receive as a core developer, those tokens are going to be worth more. So you get through there. Then you start to see people who maybe participated in the pre-sale. Maybe you see people who just invested plain a lot. Some people who've been in crypto and have already made a lot of profits, roll those profits onto the next thing. So you can see we get into some numbers that are not very round at all. And some tokens reflect back on themselves, so you're getting kind of interest payments on top of your original holdings, so the numbers will always be rough. But you can see we go down to 50, and you can scroll. And something that can be rather exciting is if you have a fair number of tokens in a project, you could find yourself, and you'll hear people talk in chats like, I'm on page 1 or I'm on page 2, I'm in the top 100. So this is a interesting way to see what's going on. And if we just pick a wallet, the important thing to remember is that the blockchain is incredibly public, right? All this information is just out there. So I don't know who this wallet is, but I can tell you that they have all sorts of different tokens, and here's what they've been doing transaction-wise. So unlike a bank account, your information isn't just held privately by a bank, it's public on the chain. That's the nature of decentralization. So I hope this has been a useful introduction for you as some of the things you can do with the BSCscan website. There are many, many more things, and I'm surely going to cover more in future videos, but this is just a basic introduction on some of the things you can do when you're looking at a token. Remember, this is not financial advice. It's just meant to be entertaining and trying to educate you on a research tool that you can use in whatever way you see fit. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel so you can get alerted when I post more videos like this one. And until next time, this is the Crypto Math Whiz.